I think it's important to set the mood, right? Because I, for instance, am invariably when you get in a car, it's the same mode, right? It's a transit,
Yeah.
right? Let's get to point B. And that's also because they're car sick people. Like, I just want to get it done with. It's not like I can be sitting and enjoying the drive. You just want to get done with the troublesome
With the least
part.
aggravation possible. Yeah.
Right? But what I realized one time was that you can flip it around a bit, right? You understand that they are not most comfortable while traveling,
Sure.
right? There are bits and pieces, like typically in the ghats and all, that they'll be in a lot of discomfort. So the one time we actually just said that, okay, we have to get there, right? Can we just plan around this a little bit?
Okay.
And instead of spending 4 days there, 5 days there, can we reduce 1 day over there and just increase the journey time?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So that way, so the mood that way changed dramatically, right? For that journey.
Because instead of 8 hours in the car, it became 2 days, 4 hours each. So you can
Yeah.
recover better, right? Makes sense.
So it just changed the mood. It became a more inclusive journey, as it were. Instead of a transit, it became, hey, we're taking a trip, right?
Yeah.
So very often it is that you get into this mode of, I have to get there.
Correct.
And that becomes the trip. So it is all about efficiency, it's about speed, about planning and everything, all of that, right? You get there quickly, but not having it enjoyed as much, right? So the mood is important.
And I would say discount the first half an hour of the mood, because that is always nasty. Because somebody in your family will be the punctual one, and somebody in your family will be the non-punctual one. And the punctual one will be ready at 4:15 in the morning or whatever and say, koi ready nahi hota time pe. Right? And the non-punctual one will, but it's a holiday. What is your
Chai
rush?
pee ke chale kya?
So first, mood-wise, you first discount the first half an hour, because first half an hour everybody's grumpy in the car for sure. If you leave early enough in the morning, you can do something clever here. You try and leave earlier and earlier in the morning, then the grumpies go to sleep. So you're left to drive or ride in peace.
Yeah,
right?
that's actually a brilliant point.
And the second thing I do is, when I travel alone, and it works for families too, give a clear agenda to the family. This is a transit day and this is a special stage. Okay, I'm using rally terms because it clarifies the thing. It has nothing to do with the speed. But rallies work in transport stages, which is please get there. And then a special stage, which is perform here. And they don't cross over with each other.
Right.
So you never speed on a transport stage and you never go slowly on a special stage in a rally. I'm saying divide your road trip the same way.
Correct.
Have days when the agenda is we have to get there. And then you can compress that agenda and say, we're going to do it a little bit faster than normal. We make fewer stops. Please make sandwiches so the first stop of the day disappears. That's an hour saved, etc. And then there are tourism days where the whole point is we're doing stuff that day. And that day, the vehicle and the road trip are in the background and the other agenda is in the foreground. So if you're visiting a place, you're going to a viewpoint, you're going to a archaeological site or whatever. That's the primary agenda for the day. Driving there happens to be part of the road trip.
Yeah.
But the first day, if you can do 500-600 kilometers like this, and I'm telling you, the sandwiches thing is an amazing thing to do, because every time you don't stop for food, you save an hour straight. And you will have to stop because people have to go to the toilet or whatever. But every time you don't do that, for whatever mechanism you're used to, you will save considerable amounts of time.
Right.
So my road trip thing for long days in the saddle is not about what I pack, how much did I sleep the previous night. All of these are secondary concerns. My first concern is, how do I plan the day? So I have to stop as little as possible. My advantage obviously is I'm alone. I don't have to depend on somebody. But if there are 2, 3, 4 motorcycles going together, this is the agenda that I'm trying to set.
Plan, right? I think that is the key part to this, right? Because if you're going to be doing a multi-day road trip, there's a lot of planning that you should do before you actually hit the road.
Yep.
So all these things are things that you have to work out in advance,
Yep.
right? Things that should be chalked out. Because when you do all that hard work first, that's when you'll enjoy your road trip more,
Yep.
right? From the small things. Like, we may not think about it too much, but like the destination matters, right? Where you're going with your family, you're going to have fun any which way. But where you're going, you should will affect how you plan,
Yeah.
right? Let's say you're being adventurous. You're going somewhere which is a bit remote, and that's great. It'll definitely be an adventure, right?
Yeah.
But are you prepared for it well enough? Like, in the small ways, do you have network on the way, right? If you're going to need Google Maps, you should download the maps for that section before you get out there,
Yeah.
right? It may not be on day 1 of your trip. It may be day 3. Can you download it and keep it in advance? Why rely on day 2, right? And picking the destination is also going to be important, because depending on which time of the year you're traveling,
Yeah.
right? You'll have to prepare differently,
Yeah.
right? Small thing, right? Going up to the mountains. if it's in the colder time of the year,
Hmm.
right? Your windshield wiper fluid,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You have to make sure it's got antifreeze also in it, right? Otherwise, that's also going to freeze up.
Yeah.
So there are all these small things. So pick your destination.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, I'm surprised at the number of people who travel regularly but never check the weather there.
Mm.
Like there was a time when he and I used to go to Europe a lot because we had a lot of vehicles being revealed there, launched there, media previews, motor shows, and it was an endless cycle which we've sort of snapped out of now, so it's not such a concern. I have for 22 years of this kind of travel been on at least 3-4 trips every year where somebody or the other has never checked what the weather at the destination is. And if it's a warm place that you're going to, it was fine.
Yeah.
But they would show up to like Canada in December and they say, I didn't know it was going to be snowing there. Snowing, it's minus 15 outside.
Yeah.
Right? And in this particular case, I think it was a Land Rover event, and Land Rover had said that whatever you buy in India for warmth will not work. So we've made arrangements for warm jackets to be given to you at the airport. We just need your size.
All right.
So they were actually expecting, saying, "Aap jo bhi leke aoge, it won't work.
It'll be insufficient.
There's a person here with jackets. You just tell us what size you need, and you will be handed a jacket." Right? So they got saved.
Yeah. Canada, I've heard like some horror stories. Like just as an example, horror story isn't that's the reality there. But like apparently they give warnings on days to protect your eyes
Yeah.
because it gets so cold that the blood in your eyes can freeze as well.
Yeah, so
because that's the only thing that's exposed.
I had a friend, you know Chandan, right? So when Chandan used to study at Cornell in Ithaca used to get so cold. He says the biggest thing I learned is to clean your nose thoroughly before you go to catch the university bus. I said, why? He says, because one of the most painful things you'll ever experience is boogers thawing in your nose once you're back in the warmth.
Yeah.
He said it was so painful that he had to learn that the nose has to be spick and span clean when you head out into the cold, because on the other side lies a lot of pain if you don't. You know why we did that conversation? It's just to occupy your time for nothing else. And you can say thank you by hitting like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to really thank us, do it on the main MotorInc channel, which this clip is from. Thanks.